It helps. Thank you if I unmute myself to the stream. Hello, Hellboy. Thank you for the sub. I am in a thing today. Today is a day. Okay.
It
Let's get this
is a
recording.
day.
Episode 23. The G Alt 0179 podcast episode 23. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the G Cube podcast episode 23, Self Isolation. I am your host, Foxman150, with your co-host, the Gauze85.
What's up?
And we're going to talk about all kinds of things from coronavirus to video games.
Yeah, how's your self-isolation going?
I've been spending all day at church.
Okay, fair.
I've been helping them. Actually, it's part of the isolation. So
yeah,
one of the church youth minister knows that I know live streaming, hence what we're doing. And he tagged me to help him live stream or get the mass set up to be live streamed.
Okay.
So I couldn't say no. Like, I doubt there's many other parishioners that know what they're doing with a live stream and getting it in general set up. So, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that probably the general public as a whole doesn't have much to help you out with there either.
So, and here we are.
It's kind of a specialized area, I think.
I think you're right.
So,
that being said, welcome everybody. Now, for Hellboy's sake, because I know he's like, oh my god, did you switch platforms again? No, I did not switch platforms. I'm just moving the podcast specifically.
Yeah, we're
and the podcast,
the podcast
only. Not my live streams are not coming over here. They're staying on Twitch. But I just moved the podcast over here for something. This is a beta test just for the podcast. One, the VODs are better. Two,
yeah, we're just playing around with the podcast and see what we can come up with.
There, my Switch is charging. I got it back together. I used one bit smaller, but I can't find the two main bits that I actually need. The J double double, and then the star double double. Those are actually quite critical bits for a lot of other things. I'm gonna have to buy a whole new freaking kit if I can't find those. I'll quit looking for them for now. So let's talk about games. So we had 2 new game launches this week. Major game launches, and that was Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal. Or as some people like call it, Animal Eternal and Doom Crossing.
Who calls it that?
I saw some memes about it on the internet. About doing a Doom Animal Crossing crossover.
Okay.
That would actually be hilarious.
I didn't hear that once.
You didn't? No, I've been seeing the memes on Reddit and stuff about that. Like artists doing meme renders.
Okay.
I thought it was hilarious personally. So I mean, Doom looks sweet.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Doom that came out a little bit early, didn't it?
It launched early in the week for select people, select creators got an early access to it.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't think it launched early. I thought it was supposed to come out this Friday.
Okay, it might have been.
I can't remember. Now, I thought Animal Crossing came out a bit early because I thought it was supposed to be next week.
I thought there was something around around both of those that was early, but I couldn't remember what it was. Maybe it was Animal Crossing.
Well, I know one of them.
I haven't played either. I couldn't tell you anything about either of them.
I haven't played either of them. I've never actually played a single Animal Crossing game. I know, shoot me.
Okay. I mean, I would say it's more of a niche.
I've been watching here and there a couple streamers playing this current iteration of Animal Crossing. Captain Erock has been the one I've been watching.
Okay.
And Char. I watched Char for a little bit today when I was doing some work on the computer. And it looks like fun. It kind of looks like a
it's a town builder sim.
Sim / city builder.
Yeah, I think you would dig it.
The name throws me because it says Animal Crossing, but it's not really Animal. It's not like You're not collecting animals. It's not like animal Pokemon. It's like,
Oh no, it's nowhere near like Pokemon. It's definitely more of a sim for sure.
I know I got a loud keyboard. Just bite it.
It's fair.
I love the sound of keyboards and this sound. I love this sound. I love that sound chat and podcast. Give me okay. You got one thing on me now. Foxman loves ASMR keyboards, and I do. I do. Mechanical keyboards are my jam. They're relaxing sounding. The clanky, clicky, the just obnoxious sounding ones are the best. People are like, oh my god, that's obnoxious. I'm like, click away. Okay, the games though. Valorant.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
Valorant launched, so they're on a cadence of information release right now.
Okay.
I believe it's Thursdays. Every Thursday they're launching a new hero, like a little
Okay.
teaser trailer of the hero and their abilities. So it started with Phoenix, and then we
Uh-huh.
had Viper, and this week we had I'm gonna butcher his name. I'm gonna look it up because I'm gonna butcher it. It's Sonnen. Oh my god, why can't I remember it now? Of course, the one time I need to remember it, I can't remember. Sova. And Sova is like their recon sniper. So Phoenix
Okay.
is like their flashbangy in your face kind of guy. Um, High DPS, really fast twitch movement type person. Viper's like a CC. Uses poison gas grenades, poison walls, and then an ultimate of like an AoE poison where only she can see through it and just wreak havoc. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it does damage over time when you're in all these. And so she's like a crowd control type thing. But now we got Sova, and Sova is like a
Okay.
recon that gets a drone and launches from his wrist. He can fly around and start tagging enemies with it. And then when he tags it, snipers like can see through walls now, can see him through the wall and pop heads right through the walls.
Okay.
He seems pretty cool.
So yeah. So did we talk about Valorant last week?
I don't think so, actually. Besides
Yeah, I
talking
was
about, oh,
wondering.
Valorant's coming! But I am like
Yeah.
super all in on Valorant.
Yeah.
Like, all in.
So since we didn't really talk about it last week, Valorant's basically a CS:GO and Overwatch
Child.
mashup, right?
Essentially. I mean,
Okay.
in the raw sense, yes, that's what it is. It is CSGO and
Right.
Overwatch Child. And
Okay.
it takes the gunplay of the raw gunplay of CS:GO and match type of CS:GO and
Right.
matches that with uh, heroes with set ability like Overwatch.
Right. Okay. I'm actually playing CS:GO as we speak, so I'll give it a shot.
You would be.
Yep.
Uh,
Um,
I've
I don't have
actually
much more
been
for video games actually.
in prep for getting better at CS:GO and in preparation for Valorant because that's gonna be my jam. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
been playing. I've been playing. What's this? Kovac 2, the meta aim trainer, and it like trains your flick shots. It trains your headshots.
Oh,
Yeah, like I found out how
get
sucky I am at flick
getting
shots.
getting super sweaty, huh?
No, I got to get super sweat, man,
Mm.
because I don't think I'm ever gonna make it as a comedian and a funny streamer. So I got to make it as a quality player and a non garbage player. I can't be mediocre at both. I got to be good at something.
Fair.
Um, but yeah, getting ready for Valorant. What's coming out in the world
Nice.
of geek?
So, not much with movies. I mean, pretty much everything's getting canceled, right?
Yeah, everything's pretty much getting canceled. Movie theaters are all closed, so nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
So the only
The
thing's
cool
TV
thing about
shows.
this we could maybe talk about is a lot of stuff coming to digital, like day one instead of theatrical releases.
Like
So,
what?
well, this wasn't day one, but Onward, the Disney Pixar movie, is out in digital now.
No kidding.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I might
it's
go watch
available right
that.
now. And then it's coming to, well, I mean, you might want to wait because it's coming to Disney Plus in 2 weeks on April 3rd.
Oh yeah, I'll just wait for it to come to Disney Plus. That's amazing. I never
Yeah,
expected Disney to do that. Just, you know what, theaters are closed, we can watch it. Here you go, digital. Let's
pretty
go.
much, pretty much.
Disney knew
But
they're
that's
gonna make
also
money on
happening.
it, so
Yeah, and it didn't have a great opening weekend anyway, so I think that's maybe just a way to recoup some losses.
probably.
Um,
Now,
but
now, do you see this becoming a wave of the future if we're really in this
yeah,
rut,
I
like they're
don't
saying,
know.
till
I don't know.
August?
So I mean, to add to that, NBC Universal's doing this with a few movies with Trolls, which I believe is supposed to come out first week of April too, and it's gonna. At first, they were going to release it in theaters and on digital same day as each other, but I doubt it's going to be in theaters at all. So it's probably just going to be going straight to digital. And I think Fast and the Furious was another one that they were going to do that with also.
That's intriguing.
It is.
Because to be honest, they're not going to make the money in the short term on that like they would from a theater.
Right.
But I wonder if logistically it's cheaper that way, so that recoups some of that loss.
Right.
Or maybe they would make more money. Because
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what percentage that they actually get in ticket sales. So if you
Yeah,
buy
I
a
don't know
$10
either.
movie ticket, how much that's actually going to the movie? Because part of that, a good chunk of that percentage of
Right.
that markup is going to the theater for operational cost. But if you
Right.
buy a $5 digital movie, at least 67% that's going right back to the studio, and the rest is going to the publisher, whether it's Amazon or whoever the digital
Right.
service provider is.
Right.
So that's intriguing.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet they might make more money doing that, and someone
They
realized
might.
it.
They might. I mean, there's been dating back years. I know that there's been studios that have been maybe toying with that idea a little bit. Even kind of making it more like a pay-per-view style thing, where it would actually you'd be spending, like I forget what the actual numbers were, what the real numbers were, but say like $100 that you could that you would spend. So I mean, if you take a family to a theater, it's probably going to be, for a small family at least $50. So
At
if you're
least
spending
if it's a family of four, like
right,
you and your significant other and two children, which is your
right.
average nuclear family, you're going to spend $10 a ticket on average. That's $40. Someone's going
So
to
would
want
you
drinks.
pay? So let's say like your average pay per view is probably what, like 60, $70, maybe even $100.
Yep.
Um, would you spend that money to just stay home, watch it in the comfort of your own home?
I think it would depend. Honestly, if it was something like Star Wars or um um Avatar or one of those like
Mm-hmm.
those kind of high end, high graphical movies, there's something about a theater that you just never can get at home, even if you have
Yeah,
an at home theater.
yeah. You definitely don't get that atmosphere anywhere else. And I think that's kind of maybe what all that the theaters can sell you right now, right?
Really, that's it. Honestly,
So I do wonder if maybe this has some effect on that market. I don't know.
I'm wondering if we're not going to just lose movie theaters across the country. They're going to permanently keep their doors shut because of this.
I don't think that'll happen because of this, but I wonder if this might be one of the catalysts to start down that path.
Well, it depends on how long. I mean, some of these
Depends on how
stay-at-home
long this
orders
goes.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it goes all the way to August, a lot of your small,
Mm-hmm.
like
Sure.
small town ones, like mine and maybe even yours, won't be able to afford to open back up. And if they don't start making money right
I
away, like
think.
some big blockbusters all hit at once, say Bond, Fast and Furious, whatever, things that fill butts and seats to the
Mm-hmm.
max, they're not going to stay open for long
Sure.
because they have bills to pay from all that time that they weren't making money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing about this. Everyone's like, well, the government's going to assist, or these people are going to assist. And I'm not here to talk politics, but you can hope
Right.
and want all they want for them to assist. That when shit hits the fan, you owe money every month for operational costs of a business. Just like they can give us assistance and tell banks not to charge us mortgage if we're out of work or whatever. But eventually we
Mm-hmm.
have to make that payment. We're a month behind. The
Right.
bank wants their money. They're not going to be, oh, there's a massive pandemic. You know what? Just don't worry about March and April's
Mm-hmm.
payment. They're like, bullshit. We want our money. We might not be
Yeah.
able to charge you any extra interest or late fees, but you're behind. You start paying now. We've added 2 days to the end of your mortgage for 2 months.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, COVID's having some really interesting effects. And I don't know how much of this is going to keep lasting. Like I wonder about like schools and stuff too. I mean, I don't know. Like I don't think that'll be.
I hate to put it this way. I kind of hope this moves us in the direction of Ready Player One a little bit with schools, where now students have the
Or it's
option
a,
of,
yeah.
yeah, stay
I
at
don't
home
think that'll
and go
happen.
to digital school.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen across the board. Like I don't think that. But I wonder how much this starts to move things. Maybe
I think
move the
this would be
needle
the
just a
catalyst
little
to
bit. You
starting
know what I
that.
mean?
I think you're going to start seeing some like your inner city schools and your really large urban schools move more to that rapidly because it will alleviate the size of the classrooms. It will provide a more one-on-one feeling experience for the students that want to stay home.
Yeah.
And maybe for your more special needs students who would benefit from the comforts of their own home but still able to go to school.
Right.
I know with me and my mentality when I was in
Right.
high school, I had ADD really bad. So me being at home probably wouldn't have helped just because there's extra distractions there.
Sure.
But they have a way of minimizing those distractions, and I'm all about it. Like kind of like Ready Player One. Once you log into the classroom on your computer, it locks everything out. Like you are stuck. You were in school until that final buzzer.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go Google shit. You can't go play your video games. Like once that's open, nothing's able to be touched besides classroom stuff. And I'd
Right.
like to see that come into fruition.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this might be something that starts that, but I don't think we're getting anywhere near that yet. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're near that yet, but I think this might be
yeah,
a
yeah,
catalyst to that. I think
could be,
within our
could be.
children's time, before they graduate high school, that will be a possibility.
I could see that. I could see that.
Um,
I honestly think that this might be, more in the case of the workplace, that this might be something that happens in the workplace way faster than it happens in um schools.
that's kind of been happening in the workplace.
It has, and I think that this might be something that pushes it even farther.
One of the things with that in the industry I work in is previously trade shows were like a big thing. Going to trade shows to sell
Mm-hmm.
your product and meet with potential buyers and potential vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
those have been dying over the years, like fairly quickly. Like, so when my grandfather did the job before I did, there was a show we did out west. I won't name the city or the location or anything, but there's a show we did out west, and he says he did an average of $40,000 to $50,000 in sales during that show week.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I go, and then when I first started going, it was a very busy show. We
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do those numbers, but we would easily do 20, 30,000. Um, Now when I go, I'm lucky. I don't even go anymore. But the last time I went, which was 2 years ago, we
Mm-hmm.
were lucky if we saw two customers.
Okay.
Two.
Yeah.
And now, and the sales also dropped off. So it wasn't like they just went digital and they were emailing in their orders or calling us. We did get quite a bit of that on the larger
Yeah.
customers who are technologically savvy, but the smaller guys just don't exist anymore. It got too expensive and it even to even have the stores. They're getting out for the big box stores, and the big box stores are they don't go to shows like that unless they absolutely need something. And they're practicing whole different stocking techniques. So it's really rough right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can see that.
What else you got for gadgets, Adam?
I don't have much at all for. So I mean, I guess we can work this into gadgets, but PlayStation, Sony had a little. It was weird. It was a reveal event, but it wasn't. They just kind of talked about a little bit of the tech specs of PlayStation 5. Did you have a chance to check that out at all?
I have not checked out anything with PlayStation 5.
Okay, so we found out it's an AMD Zen 2 3.5 gigahertz 8 core processor. GPU is an AMD RDNA 2, 10.28 teraflops, 36 CU, 16 gigabyte DDR6 memory. It's an 825 gig, which is a weird number. NVMe SSD, I thought. It's um, 4K Blu-ray, kind of the standard stuff there. I don't know. I was a little disappointed by some of those numbers, I think.
I mean, it's a
But
console. They're thermal limited. I think for the
a little
form
bit, yeah. I
factor
mean,
and what it is, that's pretty impressive still.
it's still pretty impressive. I mean, the when you put that up against the Xbox, I mean, I know there's some different things with memory and hard drives on these, which kind of maybe will even it out a little bit. But the Series X is also a Zen 2. It's 3.8 gigahertz, 8 core, and then their GPU is actually 12 teraflops at 52 CU. The other stuff is pretty
The
much the
form
same,
factor.
except for they have a 1 terabyte drive. I don't know. Like, it's not a huge difference, I don't think, but it was interesting that you know Sony was a little bit lower on that stuff. So I don't know.
Oh, that's fair.
But like I say, I
No,
don't know that it's
it's
going to be a huge difference, especially when you factor in some of the stuff like the memory
I don't think
advantages
I
that
don't think it
Sony's
is
using.
because essentially, although the numbers
Yeah,
look slightly very slightly different on paper from the Xbox,
yeah,
they're essentially the exact same SoC with a different OS. All that
yeah.
is on paper is how the OS is utilizing the hardware.
Sure.
So it might be slightly slower because Sony lowered it for thermal reasons because they didn't have the thermal headroom like Xbox did because they didn't Xbox is using
Mm-hmm.
forced convection where the heat comes in from the bottom of the fan at the top, pulls all that heat up quickly and it exhausts it based off the Corsair One's design.
Mm-hmm.
So they think that's going to be the big revolutionary thing, and that they're talking about how great of a design this is, and that's revolutionary, and it's not. Corsair started doing this like 5 years ago, with or 4 years or
Mm-hmm.
3 years, whatever it was for the new Corsair One. It was a couple years ago. It's
Right.
fantastic. They have radiators on the. It's a very small form factor case like this, and the whole side panels on both sides are radiators, but no fans on them. It's one 140 millimeter fan that's a high airflow, high static pressure fan pulling through the case, so it pulls fresh air through the radiators on the sides and up and through all the hardware and out. And it
Yeah.
it really puts out some air, and it works extremely well. And that's what Xbox is using. And I think they're even using a radiator liquid cooling system in there, of some
Okay.
sort. While PlayStation isn't. So I think the only difference that you have in specs there is for thermal reasons.
Yeah. Could be.
Um,
So
one
yeah, probably on par. Which is kind of what I was thinking about.
one thing on Geek real quick is
Mm-hmm.
two things. One, did you see Kenny Rogers died today?
I was not expecting you to go there with geek stuff,
I'm just saying, great music,
but yeah,
great
we
man.
talked about that.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Kenny Rogers. Always
Indeed.
know when to hold him and always know when to fold him.
Indeed.
Indeed. And did you see Dark Phoenix is trending on Twitter tonight?
Why?
Because people are bored and started watching the movie again, and they're ripping it a new one again.
I did not see that.
Yeah, go to Twitter. It's trending. It's the fourth trending thing. And it says,
Yeah.
when Dark Phoenix is trending because everyone wants to trash all over again because they're bored. COVID-19. I haven't yet to see this movie.
I haven't either. I don't know.
I know I've seen the one where, um, I think it's the one where Dark Phoenix is trending because everyone wants to trash all over again because they're bored. COVID-19. I haven't yet to see this movie. I have not seen the one where, um, I think it's the one where Dark Phoenix is trending because everyone wants to trash all over again because they're bored. COVID-19. she
I don't know
turns
why
into
you would
Phoenix the
want to
first
watch
time
something
against
just to rip into it. You know,
people are
just
bored, man. Now I've seen, like,
yeah, I
I
know,
saw
but I
the
mean,
Phoenix one.
watch something you enjoy. You know, spend the time watching something that is fun for you.
Well, what makes me sad is that whole X-Men series up until Dark Phoenix honestly was really freaking good. Fox had screwed up the previous ones and really
Apocalypse was meh.
that's what I'm talking about. Like until they started the Dark Phoenix storyline,
Oh, you
they
okay?
were
I see what you mean.
great. Now
They
Apocalypse
were good.
up until
Yeah.
the very end on Apocalypse was pretty damn good. Now they underutilized the Four Horsemen hardcore. They wasted Olivia Munn's character by the end, and using Dark Phoenix the way they did was like meh. Now I will say, no one has to discredit him, and for he made these movies, and Michael Fassbender's Magneto is god tier.
Yeah, it's easily the best thing about that movie.
Now there, yeah, but honestly, it's one of the best things about both movies. Professor X, played by both McAvoy
Hmm.
and Jean Luc, I know it's not his real name, Patrick Stewart, are
Hmm.
fantastic. Both Magnetos, Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender, out of this fucking world. But
Yeah.
the story writing is what kills them. Because if you think of the X-Men and X-Men First Class and all those, this whole storyline all the way up through Dark Phoenix,
Hmm.
it started out so fucking good. It really did. And they really built up a young Jean Grey and what she was going to be. And they just had to push this Dark Phoenix storyline too hard. Like, you could have just left Dark Phoenix off. You could have ended the young X-Men storyline
Hmm.
with her just being Jean Grey and being lost in who she is. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's acceptable.
maybe.
The whole point of this wasn't to tell the entire X-Men storyline. It was to tell the young X-Men, the original forming of the X-Men and who they were and why they formed. And they went way
Yeah,
they and
it
then
is to a
they
point. I mean, I think that's the first. I think that's the point of first class. But then I think it goes beyond that after that. So I mean, I don't have a problem going to the Phoenix storyline or even the Dark Phoenix storyline. But
but there's so much in between they never touched on in this.
yeah, but you don't have time in films to touch on that. I mean, this
But
isn't.
you know the general consensus of the population towards the entirety of the Dark Phoenix storyline is meh. So why touch it?
Yeah,
You know what
I guess
everyone
it's a little
wants.
weird. I think it was trying to tie in Phoenix and then
No, what
Phoenix and Dark Phoenix together. I mean, I think Phoenix as a storyline is
is
one of
good,
the easily one of the most popular X-Men storylines. I
100%,
think.
and they could have left it.
Um,
I admit, Annihilus or Armageddon or whatever it was called, was a little meh. It was only because of the way they portrayed the Phoenix at the very end. It was too
yeah,
cheesy. But if
I
they
mean,
didn't do quite the, but beyond that, the story in the movie was good. The base
yeah,
story was good, showing the origin of Storm and several other the upcoming X-Men was fantastic.
it's a little
Now,
bit of a weird Storm origin, I think, but yeah,
but it works.
yeah,
Um, I think what they need to do with X-Men, and it's something the true X-Men fans have been calling for years, and they keep hinting on it or they touch on it and they kind of sort of dance around it and tell a little bit of the story, is fucking the Sentinels and Mastermind.
hmm,
Just do it. Like, you
yeah.
did it in First Class when you brought in the Sentinels and Michael Fassbender, but you just barely showed what they could do, and then you killed them off, right?
That
With
wasn't even Sentinels.
that was the early
I mean, that
stages
was in first
Sentinels.
class. That was Days of Future Past,
Days of
wasn't it?
Futures Past. There was First Class.
Yeah, but
Days of
I don't
Future
think that
Past.
had did that have Sentinels in it?
No, you're right. It's Days of Future Past when they
Yeah,
send Wolverine back in time into his old body
to stop
because the
that
Sentinels
fusion.
at the
Yeah,
end of the world have completely destroyed the world, including humanity,
right,
and they're the last holdout of survival,
right.
and they had to kill what's his face Trask before he created the Sentinel program, and they used essentially, well, not intentionally, but they used Magneto to do it by him trying to
Yeah,
kill all the humans with the Sentinels, and then realizing by doing that he proved the Sentinels unreliable and untrustworthy. So then they destroyed all the Sentinels, and then the mutants were shown as being the heroes because Mystique took the bullet for the president, pretended to be the president in front of the president. He knew what she was doing and took the bullet for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he couldn't be mad at mutants because she literally sacrificed herself and took a bullet for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
It was a great movie. But that's the only time you've hinted at Sentinels, minus in the original X-Men when they were killing them in the hologram room. But they never showed them. Just bring the fucking Sentinels. How hard is it?
I think you might get something more like that once they enter the Disney realm.
You mean once the mouse takes over?
Yeah, honestly.
I'm okay with that.
That's what I mean.
I really, I know it maybe is petty of me or whatever, but that's the one storyline. Now, I'm not saying it would have been impossible for Fox to fuck up, because they can, but it would have been hard. Like, that is pure fan service. We've been begging for it since you announced the original X-Men, that just to see Wolverine rip the head off a fucking Sentinel. And you did it in a hologram room, but you didn't show us the Sentinel Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely something I want to see, but again, I think that's just one of those things that you have so much time for, and they wanted to do other stuff. I mean, I kind of get that.
I get that, and I if they do bring X-Men back under the mouse, I know they're going to, but when
they will.
When they do, if they don't hold off too long, I know this is going to sound, I want this cast, this most recent cast, Sophie Turner, Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, but they're so fucking good and underutilized. Fox did not do them justice.
Yeah, a lot of that cast is good. I would definitely like to see something different done with Beast, but
I don't know. I really liked him as Beast. I'm a huge Beast fan, and I will say,
Kelsey Grammer
killed it. Yeah. Kelsey Grammer was a fantastic Beast, but this guy made a good young version of Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer was a good aged, mature, and experienced Beast.
The going back and forth, or, just do Beast or don't do Beast, I guess.
I love Beast. Beast is my favorite X-Men of all time.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying as that.
If you're gonna do Beast, just make him Beast and don't keep going back and forth. If he's human or Beast.
But
I think it was X-Men serum I think it was that serum that I just didn't love.
He did that though in the Ultimates.
I know. Yeah, but I know, but it's just
but
didn't love it.
The reason why I think they were doing that, and I'm hoping I'm right, is that version of Hank McCoy is the Illuminati version that goes back and forth between Beast and Human.
Honestly, what it is they were trying to give him and Jennifer Lawrence a connection. That's all it was.
A little bit, but if I remember correctly, that when the Illuminati came into the Marvel Universe in the Ultimates, and you had Hank McCoy, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, I think, what was Victor Von Doom part of it for a little bit in the Illuminati?
I couldn't tell you.
I can't remember, but it's all like great minds of Earth come together.
Okay.
Charles Xavier's in it, and they're the masterminds behind Earth and what happens.
Okay.
And Hank does that in that series where he goes from between Beast and Human, Beast for Human, because that's serum. But
as long as we get another Nightcrawler, I'm okay. Nightcrawler is by far my favorite X-Men.
I really want Michael Fassbender to come back as Magneto, period, because he killed it. And I really, really do want Sophie Turner back as Jean Grey, because she makes a fantastic Jean Grey.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that for sure.
But let's move on to gadgets. We already talked to PlayStation 5. I kind of derailed, went back to that. So I only have 2 gadgets for today.
Okay, go for it.
One of them is AMD and Intel have new competition now in the data center space. and that's Amazon. Amazon has created their own CPU for data centers called the Graviton 2, and it's boosting the cost dollar per performance cost. It's 54% cheaper than Cascade Lake or AMD Epic.
Okay.
So that's substantial with producing the same amount of power at a 54% cost. Now, of course, they say for AWS and EC2, which is Amazon's own data services. So, of course, it's going to be cost savings when you're doing it in-house. Intel's own servers are dirt cheap. It would be more expensive for them to buy Intel because they're using their own parts. They don't have a markup on them.
Right.
They're not going for profit when they're putting them in their data centers. They're giving to themselves a cost.
Right.
But yeah. And then my last thing is if you're wanting to upgrade your computers and you're shut in, you got maybe money because some people are still getting paid with this and everything else. Maybe you got your tax refund back. Amazon has a deal. I think it's Amazon. Amazon? Yeah, Amazon. They just knocked the 3900X down another $100, so it's down to $399 for a 12-core, 24-thread processor. That is
How much?
$399.99 for the Ryzen 9 3900X.
That's pretty hot.
That is dirt cheap.
Yeah, it is.
That is, it's all-time low right now.
What's the Intel equivalent of that run?
Let me see what's that. I think the Intel 12-core CPU. $1,000. Nope, wait, correction. You can buy. Oh yeah, no, that's the old Xeon E5. That's ancient. If you're looking current for the X series, which is the i9s, which is the i9 109080X. No, hang on. Which one's a 12-core? Here it is. It's a 10920X, and it's roughly $1,000, and it's not even out yet. It's not supposed to launch until Q4.
Yeah.
But it's also 4.6 gigahertz all-core.
Okay.
While AMD's is not quite that, but it's also massively cheaper. Like $600 cheaper. Now, if you pair that with a compatible motherboard, you get a further $20 discount off that CPU, bringing the price down to $379.99 plus the cost of whatever the motherboard is. You can also pick that up at your local Micro Center at that price. Even though we can't go out and go shopping, unless Micro Center is considered essential services, which it might be for IT purposes to keep businesses up and going with parts. If not, you can order it from them and they can ship to you. But that's a heck of a deal. That's $100 off the most recent price. Yeah. And remember, this is back in October when this chip launched as October 2019. It was $570.
Yeah.
So, and they're also going to be announcing the 4000 series here within 2 or 3 months anyway. Probably around July or August.
Okay.
And they'll be announcing the RDNA 2 graphics card sometime this summer as well. So keep an eye out for the 5700 XT, 5700, and the 5600 XT to go on deep sale with RDNA 2 coming out.
Fair.
What else do you got?
Not much. The only thing I was going to mention is this isn't really gadgets, but it's kind of gadgets. I got the new Facebook desktop experience this week.
I love it.
Nothing but buggy and terrible, and
I love it so much.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this yet. I don't know. There's so much white space to this, and
I have it on dark mode.
That bugs me.
So I have so much black space.
Okay, fine. Terminology is the same.
I know, but I love the feeling of the space. It doesn't feel too busy.
That bugs me that it just feels so unused. Like there's like 50% of the screen here that's just nothing.
I love that.
I hate that.
Because before it was full of so much stuff, it was just felt so busy. I didn't use it because how busy it was.
it was cluttered before. I'll give you that, but this just feels so
So
sparse.
clean to me. It feels so clean.
I mean, I don't know if that middle content was like 30% bigger, I think I'd be fine. It just feels so empty, and I don't know. It's very minimal design. I get that, and it's very mobile, and I get that too.
And it's very vertical.
Bridges those.
It bridges those, and it makes it where it's more resolution compatible.
But I mean, I've had terrible bugs. I mean, I can't. There's times I can't clear notifications, which bugs the shit out of me. I hate that.
Really?
Yeah. I barely can watch live videos anymore. It's just I don't know how this makes it out the door like this.
It's still beta, technically. They're just slowly rolling out the beta. If you signed up to be on any Facebook beta, it could roll out to you as a beta.
I mean, it didn't say it was a beta. It said that the new My New desktop was ready and I could switch to it.
Oh, mine says a beta, and I can switch back to classic. No. You can switch back to classic.
I can switch back to classic. I know. I was just.
Yeah, mine straight up told me it was a test. The thing is,
I think I like having the dark mode more than I hate the rest of it.
So, the dark mode is so clean. I
don't know why it took them until 2020 to implement a dark mode.
Oh, YouTube just did it recently too.
They did, yeah. Theirs was last year, right?
Yeah, which is
like
just
an
sad.
Official dark mode for them.
Yeah, an official dark mode. A lot of people.
Some weird like dark modes they had before that, but it wasn't ever universal.
Well, and then Android just got dark mode, official dark mode this year with Android 9, or end of last year with Android 9.
I mean that I can kind of understand. That's more like a system-wide UI type thing.
But that's why none of these other ones went dark mode, because if you went dark mode, UI on most devices, because most people are consuming that content mobile, it's not dark mode, so it's just gonna default back to white anyway. So what's the point of making a dark mode that's only half functioning? So now devices can now carry the dark mode. Okay, now let's go dark mode.
I mean, if you're talking about within the app itself, I'm more talking about desktop. I mean, like Twitter's had their dark mode for years, and it worked fine. Within the app itself on Android devices.
Fair.
So, but even just on a desktop site, I don't know why there was ever any reason that it couldn't be. That it couldn't be a dark mode. I think it's pretty stupid, but
it is what it is. Well, that's all we got. I know we're just ranting about dark mode now and Facebook. Yep. Very opposing opinions on the new Facebook desktop between you and I. It's okay. I still love you. Now we just need a dark mode for Amazon.
Not everybody can be right all the time.
I know you're wrong more often than not, but I still love you. Now, if Amazon can just pull out dark mode, that would be fantastic for their homepage and their shopping place.
Yeah. Everywhere needs a dark mode.
Yep. And it can't be hard. You got to be a button you can just push. They're inverse colors and be good to go.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot more than that, but inevitably that's how it starts. Just inverse the colors and then fine tune.
Yeah.
With that being said, chat and podcast listeners here in the near future, we love you. Thank you for hanging out. Please be safe. Wash your hands. Maintain your social distancing, and we will see you on the other side of this thing. Have a great night.
Good night.